What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Around the Rim. I'm Aaron Pryor. Now, we're in conference play right now, but let's not just gloss over a couple of facts that the Big 12 laid down in non-conference play. The Big 12 held non-con opponents to 64.5 points per game, which led the country. The league won better than 78% of its November and December games and led the country in wins over Power 5 opponents, winning 65% of those games. One of those teams that scored multiple Power 5 non-conference wins and just knocked off number 20 Iowa State this week are those Baylor Bears. The Bears are largely relying on the play of underclassmen and a couple of well-timed transfers, particularly Makai Mason and Mario Kegler. Mason came to Baylor as a grad transfer from Yale, the first graduate transfer in Baylor program history. After fighting through 2 years of injuries, Mason is the Bears' leading scorer and floor general, and someone Baylor has relied on in the biggest games this year. Mason led the Bears in scoring in both Power 5 non-conference wins over Arizona and Oregon and dropped 25 on Iowa State earlier this week.
He's somebody that's very fundamentally sound. He's very experienced and accomplished in his 2 years playing at Yale. He's one of those guys that one-on-one can get a shot off and is very efficient at it. So his ability to, he's a good shooter, he's good at finishing, he's got the mid-range game, he's a good facilitator, but his ability to one-on-one get a shot off is impressive.
Mario Kegler has been another key piece for the Bears. His 6'7", 6'8" size is a nightmare matchup for most teams. After playing in 31 games for Mississippi State, Keckler transferred in and has played in 8 games for the Bears, while averaging nearly 9 points and 6.5 boards a game. He plus Tristan Clark have shored up a front court that is second in the Big 12 in offensive rebounding per game.
He just brings that dog personality. I'm not going to lose. I'm going to do whatever I can to get my team to win. He gets buckets. He can handle the ball at 6'8". It's kind of huge. He can guard multiple positions. He can guard 1 through 4. He's a mismatch problem. Kind of too big for threes and too quick and play on the perimeter when a 4 guards him. So, he's just very versatile.
Kansas heads to Waco for what should be a really good game on Saturday. The Jayhawks forced 20 turnovers in Wednesday night's win over TCU and will need continued production from Dedrick Lawson, who had a cool 31 and 14 in the W. The transfer from Memphis is second in the league with 19.5 per game and is in the top 7 in the country in rebounds per game. Tip for that game is on ESPN at 3 p.m. A look now at the top 3 scorers in the Big 12 so far. Marial Shayok leads the league at 20.3 per game. KU's Dedrick Lawson, as mentioned earlier, is at 19.5 per game, while also leading the Big 12 with better than 11 boards per contest. Texas Tech, as the only 3-0 team in the league, is led by Jarrett Culver at 19 a game. Shayok is another transfer like Makai Mason and Dedrick Lawson that's had a major impact on his team. After 3 years at Virginia, Marial brings that tough defensive mindset and the ability to score in many different ways on the floor. He scored 20 or more points in 7 games so far, including 24 last Saturday in a double-digit win over Kansas at Hilton.
He's got good size at his position. He can play a couple positions on the perimeter. Really, if we play 4 guards, he could play anywhere. At times the 1, but 2, 3, or 4 for us. But can really shoot. He's really worked in the off-season, really worked in his sit-out year of really being able to make shots. He's been really good for our program, and just that his work ethic and his character has been really good. Older guys have worked out with him, younger guys, he's done a good job taking them under his wing.
Shayok and the Cyclones take on a Kansas State team that rallied from 21 down in the second half to beat West Virginia at Bramlage on Wednesday night. The Wildcats needed a win to avoid an 0-3 conference hole and got a huge boost from senior leader Barry Brown Jr., who scored 20 of his season-high 29 to lead the Cats to the W. The 21-point comeback was the largest in program history, and K-State needed it in a bad way. K-State also got big points off the bench from Mike McGurl. He scored 18 points in 26 minutes of action, including going 4 of 6 from deep. K-State and Iowa State get going at 11 a.m. on ESPN2 from Hill Coliseum. One last thing, Texas Tech's Jarrett Culver continues to show out for the Red Raiders. The sensational sophomore had 23 and 13 in a win on Tuesday night over Oklahoma. Along with KU's Dedrick Lawson, Culver was named to the John Wooden Top 25 watch list on Wednesday, and for good reason. Culver has scored in double figures in 14 out of 15 games this year, including 7 games with 20-plus points. 2018 teammate Keenan Evans was also a finalist for the award as well. That'll do it for this week's Around the Rim. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. For the Big 12 Conference, I'm Aaron Pryor.